Good day everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to a new review. For today I have the Ulefone Power II, and of course the main selling point for this device is the massive 6050 mAh battery that's inside. Price wise the phone costs around $180 to $200, but we do get a lot of value for that money. Before we go any further, can you help me get this video to like 200 likes? Let's start with the specs. So this phone has the MediaTek 6750T. This is an Octa core CPU clocked at 1.5 GHz. We also have 4 GB of RAM, 64 GB of internal storage. The phone is running Android 7, and on top of that we have a 5.5-inch screen with a 1080p resolution. Size-wise, well, as you'd expect, the phone is not the smallest out there, and that's because of that massive battery that we have inside. Now, the phone looks quite thick, but whenever you hold this phone in your hand, it doesn't actually feel as thick as it looks, if that makes any sense. Of course, if you compare this with any other phone, it's gonna look way thicker. The back of the phone is made out of metal, however we have plastic at the top and at the bottom, so those parts are made out of plastic. So on the back there we are gonna find the 16 megapixel camera, we also have the flash and the Ulefone logo. On the right hand side you're gonna find the power button and the volume keys, but I couldn't really tell you if these are made out of metal or plastic. On top we're gonna find a 3.5mm audio jack, and the sound coming out of the audio jack is just average, so nothing out of the ordinary. And turning the phone around we're gonna find the SIM card slot. This phone can take either 2 SIM cards or a SIM card and an SD card, and that SD card can always be installed as internal storage. And since we're talking about internal storage, out of that 64 gigs of internal storage we get about 55 left, but the speeds that I got for the internal storage are really good. At the bottom we have the speaker, however the speaker doesn't get that loud. We also have the micro USB charging port and the microphone. This phone supports OTG, so you can plug in any USB stick and the phone will be able to read whatever you have on that USB stick, and the phone also supports fast charging, so you're going to be able to charge the entire phone in about 3 hours. As I mentioned before, this phone has a massive 6050 mAh battery inside. However, I didn't actually get the results that I was hoping for, so I thought that I was gonna make it through like 4 days on one battery charge, but that's not the case. So I was able to make it through like 2 days on one battery charge and about 6 hours of screen on time. So not absolutely amazing. On the front of the phone, starting at the top, we have an 8 megapixel front-facing camera, we have a couple of sensors, the speaker and an LED notification light. Now, as for picture quality, well, it is better than a lot of other phones that I've tried here on the channel, however, not perfect. These couple of pictures that I just showed you are taken with the front-facing camera. The 5.5-inch IPS display that we have on this device, it's made by Sharp and has a resolution of 1080p. Now, the colors do look nice and vibrant, the viewing angles are great, so you can see the phone from any angle. However, the screen doesn't seem to get that bright, so whenever you go outside, well, it is a bit difficult to actually see the screen, not to mention the reflection and the glare that you're gonna get on the screen. As for screen sensitivity, this is better than a lot of other phones that I tried here on the channel, so you can touch the screen in 5 places in the same time and the screen will register. On top of that we have Gorilla Glass 3, so the screen is not gonna get scratched that easily. The phone also has a home button, but if you're not comfortable using the home button, you can always bring up the soft keys on the phone, so you can just use those on the screen. Now, the home button also has a fingerprint scanner inside, and the fingerprint scanner is accurate 10 out of 10 times, and it unlocks the phone rather quick. Maybe not as quick as other flagship devices that we've seen, but quite fast. All you have to do is touch the fingerprint scanner and the phone will unlock. That fingerprint scanner can also be used as a back button, as a multitasking button, and as a home button. And if you hold it pressed, you can even open the Google Assistant. So you can use that home button as everything basically. Even though we don't get the highest scores on the Antutu Benchmark and the Geekbench 4, the phone performs quite well and I haven't had any issues with any apps slowing down. So for example, Chrome works just like it would work on a flagship device. So scrolling up, scrolling down, zooming in, zooming out works extremely well without any issues. On the YouTube app, the maximum resolution is 1080p and that's the resolution of the screen, and all the videos that I watched were extremely smooth. And on top of that, gaming works very good as well, and I'm pretty sure that you can download pretty much any game from the Google Play Store and you're gonna be able to play it on this phone without any issues. Now, the GPS unit inside this phone. So sometimes it takes a minute to connect to the satellite, sometimes it takes 3 seconds, and it's very random and you can't really predict when it's gonna connect and whenever it's not gonna connect fast. Now, whenever it gets connected, it doesn't seem to get disconnected from the satellites, but keep in mind that sometimes you may have to wait till it finds your location. As for sensors, we have a lot of sensors and we also have a gyroscope included. Connectivity wise, the phone can connect to 4G networks, and I was actually connected to the 4G network the entire time that I've been using this phone, and I'm located in Canada. Now, there are no 3G bands that are actually compatible with Canadian carriers, so it's either 4G or 2G, so you don't really want that. Now, the phone has dual band Wi-Fi, so 2.4 and 5 GHz Wi-Fi bands, and the speeds that I got over the dual band Wi-Fi and over 4G are quite good. On the back of the phone, we have a 13 megapixel camera that's interpolated to 16 megapixels, and I have to say that I was quite surprised by the results I got from this camera, much better than I was expecting. The camera app, well, it's quite boring and it's the same MediaTek camera app that we've seen in the past, so we don't really have that many options or settings in there. However, we do have an HDR mode, but anytime you're actually taking HDR pictures, you have to hold your hand steady for a few seconds, so the HDR mode is quite slow whenever you're taking pictures. As for picture quality, well, the pictures turn out okay, but not absolutely amazing. So most of the pictures that you're gonna take are on the softer side, so not that crisp, and the colors don't seem to be that vibrant. But of course, I'm coming from Samsung devices, and all the Samsung devices that I had take very nice and vibrant shots. So the pictures overall aren't bad, but they could be better. In low light conditions, of course, like any other phone, the pictures become a bit grainier and it's a bit difficult to actually focus in them, but overall much better than a lot of other phones that I've seen. And lastly, the software. So we have Android 7 right out of the box. However, this phone has the ugliest skin that I have ever seen for any phone. Like, this skin looks from 1995. I can imagine like a Nokia phone or something like that using these icons that they chose to use on this phone. So definitely very, very ugly. So go ahead and install Nova Launcher and change those icons because yeah, they don't look good at all. However, even with that ugly skin on top of Android 7, the phone does perform extremely good, so I haven't found the phone slowing down for anything. And even multitasking works really, really good, and the phone can keep a whole bunch of apps running in the background. As for the split screen from Android 7, that also works very good, so I'm quite impressed with this phone overall. The settings app doesn't look that great either, and they do have a lot of features and options in there. However, most of the features and options that they have I wouldn't actually use, like never. The only useful feature that I found in there was the ability to change those soft keys, so you can turn those around, change them around basically, and the double tap to wake up the screen, and that also seems to work good 9 out of 10 times, I'm gonna say. And it's time to conclude this video. So the only thing that I was a bit disappointed was the battery life, because with that massive battery I was expecting to get like 3 days of usage on this phone, but that's not the case, and you're basically gonna make it from like an entire day and have a bit left for the next day, so not totally amazing. Aside from that, everything seems to work much better than a lot of other phones. Not to mention that ugly skin that they used. I don't know what they were thinking. But aside from that, the phone does seem to perform quite good. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, press that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.